Hello, Time for You. This is Rose Gwyther. I'm here for Thirsty Thursday. We're continuing with our Savvy Minerals line for makeup. And today we're going to talk about the eyeshadows. Now, I don't know about you, but I haven't been doing a whole lot of makeup since the pandemic because when you wear a mask, hardly anybody sees you, but they do see your eyes. So I focus more on what I'm putting on my eyes than I do for the rest of my face. So I am here today to talk about the eyeshadows, and I really like them. They have a lot of different shades, and they have some that are in stock all the time, and then they have others that come and go. They have a lot, like a convention, they might have some new ones, and most of the time these are limited. And also around the holidays, they did not have any this year. But sometimes they do have new ones. And there's some of them I really like, and I'm hoping that sometimes they'll come back. But they haven't yet, not for about a year or so. But anyway, these are mineral-based eyeshadows. And they, again, like all of our mineral makeup, they're made to be blendable and buildable and to wear all day. These eyeshadows have an EWG rating of a 2, which is absolutely wonderful, so you don't have to worry about what you're putting on your skin. They also, they're ideal for a sensitive skin. They are infused with lavender essential oils, and they are vegan and cruelty friendly, and they do have that new beauty standard, this new standard in beauty, clean beauty, which means it doesn't have any synthetic fragrances, phthalates, sulfates, or dyes. Okay, or mineral oil. So they have great ingredients. Now, of course, they have mica, and we've talked about mica a lot. That is your base for mineral makeups. They also have caprylic triglycerides, which is a mix of a coconut oil and a glycerin, and that helps to kind of keep these things with some kind of texture. So they're excellent emollient, and they're also a skin replenishment ingredient. Okay, and then they have zinc stearate, which is very common for mineral makeup, and it's a binding agent, so it helps to have our makeup stay stable in the powdery form. Then it has a magnesium carbonate, which is or inorganic mineral salt, and it helps as an absorption. And then it also has a glycerin caprylate, which is a white or cream colored like wax. It's like a solid, so it helps again for the powder to stay where we put it. So it's used as a thickener, so these things aren't really soupy and they stay where we put it. They also have the typical iron oxides we talked about, which gives you the color. These also, or some of these, also have a copper powder, which is also like an iron oxide. But this is the first time I've seen it in any of the ingredients for Savvy Minerals, and this gives the natural reddish orange tones to some of the colors. Has the manganese violet, which you see a lot in the eyeshadows, a tinge of violet, tinge of purple. And also something I thought that was very interesting that they had listed that I had never seen before was geraniol, limonene, and linalool. And I'm going, well, I think these are chemical constituents of essential oils. And as I looked into them more, yes, they are. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about what you might see this. Really isn't an ingredient, but because of changing the labeling regulations that were first introduced in 2004, manufacturers must include, supposedly, hopefully, not all of them do, but especially, I know Young Living does. So that's why we're seeing this on the ingredients list. They need to include all the ingredients because they could be potential allergens. And if they have a certain level, so if they're 0.0001% for a rinse off, which eyeshadows aren't, but if they're 0.01% for leave-on products, they need to be listed. So they're listed here. And where do these come from? Why are they in here? Because of the lavender essential oil. And this change was made to kind of stop the hiding of the blanket of the word perfume or fragrance on the labels, because these three constituents could cause someone to have an allergic reaction to susceptible individuals. But these compounds are naturally found in essential oils and do not have the same allergic activity. But legislation still requires that we take this and put these on the labels because it is present in the product. So that's why we're seeing it. Thought that was very interesting. So let's get into the actual product. Now, the individual shades that you will find on the inventory right now in Young Living are Best Kept Secret, which is a matte, so like a kind of matte beige, almost skin tone for me, almost a little bit darker than skin tone. And this is the color here, whether you can see it or not, but this is what I use as my base every day. So I'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. They have a Wanderlust, which is a light frosty beige. It's kind of shimmery. And a lot of times you can use that, especially on the inside of your eyes. It makes your eyes look like they're wider apart. I don't have that right now. I have had it. I need to get it again. They have a Residual, which is a pink, which I don't use that much. It's like a light pink brownish color. They have an Inspired, which is a light purple. And this one I do use and I do like a lot. They also have an Envy, which I never had, and an Overboard. And the Envy is a gray purple. That's what I call it. And the Overboard is a more deeper purple. Now they've had some that I also have, which I really like a lot. And one I really like a lot is called Cheers. It came out at Christmas one year. And Cheers is a frosty brown. So if you want to get that deep color, like right here in the crease of your eye, that would be a good one to use for that. They have something called Times Square, which came out again around the Christmas time, a couple years ago, which is a frosty purplish green, almost has some green in it too. So it's a very different color. They have a Midnight, which is a deep purple. Freedom, which is a deep green gold. So it's really, really a different shade. Don't use that one too much. And they have what they call a Determined, which is a frosty brown. And those are some of the ones that I have. Don't use them all the time. I tend to use the Inspired and the Best Kept Secret, and also one that was called Spoiled, but I don't see that around anymore at all. And I thought it was in the individual shades, but it's not there anymore. So when that's out for me, then I'm going to have to find one of these other ones that I don't use as often to put in my bathroom for everyday use. So how do you use these? Well, you guys probably know better than I do how you can use these, but you put them on a brush. It's best to use these mineral makeups by applying them with a brush. Young Living has two that I use. When I really want to get serious, they have an eyeshadow brush that has this nice rounded curve, and that really gets down into this crease for those darker colors that you want to do that. I don't do this unless I really want to get fancy. I use this other brush that's called a blending brush. Use this a lot. Put some And I use this Best Kept Secret, like I said, as, so you put it in, and if you get too much, you just dip it off. I use this Best Kept Secret as my base, and I will put it on my lids, over my eyes. I'll even, after I put on some liquid makeup as my concealer or concealer underneath my eyes, I will put this Best Kept Secret. Make sure you blend it far out so it doesn't have this crease or really look weird. But it's something that I just kind of put over to kind of reduce the shine. This is a matte, M-A-T-T-E, so it has no shine to it. So this is what I use, the Best Kept Secret, for my base. And then I will add anything else that I feel like for the day. And then I will apply that to kind of like the outside of my lids and over, lightly over to my eyebrows. And whatever you want to do. People get really fancy. I don't get really fancy. But it's fun to experiment. But these two brushes are very, very nice to have. So that's all I have for you today. Next week, I think I'm going to come back and talk about the palettes that we have in Young Living. That would be the last of the eyeshadows. These are handy to take and put in another little container and put in your travel kit. The palettes, you can't do that with, but it's nice to have at home. But the palettes to me are a little heavy for travel. And I'll show you next week, if you haven't seen that yet, what I'm talking about. But these, I'll put these in a smaller container, and you can find these little small containers, and I will take them, and these last a long time. I mean, this, I don't know what size this is, but I would say this is probably at least an ounce. But these last a long time. And when I put 2 or 3 little bottles of different makeup, of eyeshadows in my travel kit, they will last me for a month or more. So I don't have to worry about really running out. That's all I have for you today. Have a great day, and I will see you again next week. Bye.